In this video, we will talk about operations with rational numbers. We will see how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions. So first, a quick definition of what are rational numbers, numbers that can be written as fractions. So we use the word fractions and rational numbers interchangeably. And in a fraction, there are two parts. If it's a rational number, it can be written as a fraction. The rational numbers can be written as p over q. The number p, which is in the top, is called the numerator. The number q, which is in the bottom, is called the denominator. And if p and q are both integers and q is not equal to 0, then this number would be a rational number. So in a fraction, as long as q, the denominator, is not 0, it would be a rational number. All fractions are rational numbers, and rational numbers can also be written as decimal numbers. So here are some examples of rational numbers being written as decimals. So 1 over 2 can be written as 0.5, 3 over 4 can be written as 0.75, 1 over 9 can be written as 0.1. The dash on the top means that it's 0.1111 and it keeps on going forever and ever. In this video, we will limit ourselves to operations on fractions, and we will not talk about operations with decimals. We will have another separate video on that. So let's start with adding and subtracting fractions. So if the fractions have the same denominator, follow these steps. First thing you will do is add the numerators. Keep the denominator unchanged if both fractions have the same denominator, and then add or subtract the numerators and write the new fraction, reduce if necessary. So let's see how that is done. So here's an example. So we want to keep the denominator as it is, and we want to add the two numerators. So 3 over 7 plus 2 over 7 equals 5 over 7. Here's another example. We have 2 over 5 plus 1 over 5. We will keep the denominator as it is, and then we will add the two numerators, and that will give me 3 over 5. Here's another example. So I'll keep the denominator same, and I will combine the numerators, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So 2 over 5 minus 1 over 5 equals 1 over 5. Here's another example. Both fractions have the same denominator, so I'll keep that as 3. I'll combine the numerators. 1 take away 2 is negative 1 over 3, and I can write this as negative 1 over 3. Here's another example. 1 over 6 plus 4 over 6. Keep the denominator as it is, add the two numerators, and you have 5 over 6. So that is what you do when you have fractions with the same denominator. Now, if the denominators have different denominator, if the fractions have different denominators, then you follow these steps. So first thing you will do is multiply the numerator and denominator of each fraction with the denominator of the other fraction. I'll show that in a minute. And then both fractions should have now the same denominator. Then you keep the denominator unchanged because now both fractions have the same denominator, and you add or subtract the numerators and then write the new fraction and reduce if needed. So let's take an example. So here I have 3 over 7 plus 2 over 5. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the numerator and denominator of 2 over 5 with 7. And in the same way, I will multiply the numerator and denominator of 3 over 7 with 5. So how does that happen? So I will just write here 3 over 7 and multiply both parts by 5. Then I will say 2 over 5 and multiply both parts by 7. So this would give me 15 over 35 plus 14 over 35. Now both fractions have the same denominator, so I will keep the denominator as 35 and 15 plus 14 is 29, and there is no number that divides both 29 and 35, so that is the answer that I have for this addition. Let's do 4 over 9 minus 3 over 5. So start by writing 4 over 9, multiply both parts with the denominator of the other fraction, which is 5, and then write 3 over 5 and multiply both the numerator and denominator with the fraction of the other, with the denominator of the other fraction, which is 9. So you have now 20 over 45 minus 21 over 45, and 20 minus it's actually 27 over 45. So 20 take away 27 is negative 7 over 45. There is no number that divides both 7 and 45, so the answer is negative 7 over 45. Now when we come to multiplying rational numbers, then we follow these simple steps. First thing is you multiply the numerators with each other, you multiply the denominators with each other, and you write the new fraction, and then you reduce the fraction if needed. So let's see an example. So 2 times, so we have 3 over 7 times 2 over 5. 3 times 2 is 6. 7 times 5 is 35. There is no number that divides both 6 and 35, so I cannot reduce this fraction, and that would be the answer. Let's do this example here. 4 times 3 is 12. 7 times 8 is 56. Both of these numbers, 12 and 56, can be divided by 4. So I will go ahead and divide both of them by 4. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. And 56 divided by 4 is 14. So the answer here would be 4 over 7 times 3 over 8 is 3 over 14. Let's see this example here. One fraction is negative, the other fraction is positive. A negative times a positive is a negative. 1 times 2 is 2, and 3 times 5 is 15. There's no number that divides both 2 and 15, so there's nothing much I can do to simplify this, and that would be the answer. Now, before we talk about dividing fractions, we quickly want to learn about something called a reciprocal. So for any number, its reciprocal is another number such that the product of the two numbers is 1. In case of fractions, what we do is we simply interchange the numerator and denominator. So the reciprocal of 2 over 3 is 3 over 2. The reciprocal of 5 over 8 is 8 over 5. And this is important for when you want to divide two fractions. So in order to divide the two fractions, you change that into a multiplication. So you multiply the dividend fraction with the reciprocal of the divisor fraction, and then you write the new fraction and reduce if necessary. So let's see how does that work out. So I have this example, 4 over 9 divided by 3 over 5. I will write this as 4 over 9 times 5 over 3. So what I did was I changed the division into a multiplication with the reciprocal of 3 over 5, which is 5 over 3. Now 4 times 5 is 20. And 9 times 3 is 27. There is no number which will divide both 20 and 27, so therefore this fraction cannot be reduced any further. Here's another example. So same thing, I will write the first fraction as it is, change the division to a multiplication, and multiply with the reciprocal of the second fraction. So now 3 times 5 is 15. And 7 times 2 is 14. There is no number that divides 15 and 14, so therefore I cannot reduce this fraction any further. Here's another example, 4 over 3 divided by 8 over 3. So I write 4 over 3 as it is, and I change the division into multiplication, and then I say 3 over 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 8 is 24. 12 divides both of them. So I'm going to divide 12 by 12 and also 24 by 12, and that gives me 1 over 2. So 4 over 3 divided by 8 over 3 equals 1 over 2. Now we have 4 over 7 divided by 3 over 8. So start with 4 over 7, change the division into multiplication, take the reciprocal of 3 over 8, which is 8 over 3, and then multiply. So 4 times 8 is 32, and 7 times 3 is 21. And there is no number that divides both 32 and 21, so I cannot reduce this any further. That would be my answer. So we have seen how to add, multiply, divide fractions. If there is a topic that you would like us to make a video about, please send us that topic in an email. If there's a question you would like us to solve and make a video about, send that us to at info@sageeducational.com. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and hit the like button as well. I hope you enjoyed the video.